Hi, I'm Joel. I create games, and today I want to work on loading in the dungeon from an overworld. So I've created this extremely basic dungeon, just using Unity assets, well, primitives, and what I want to do is have basically a scene that will just have a button that I press, and um, that scene will have script that has like a character control, a list of character stats for all of these stat character sheet things. And what it will do is, depending on what I put into each stat sheet, it will load into this dungeon, and it will have different players, or different numbers of players, and they will have the stats from the previous thing. And then, if I have time, I also want to make it so that when there's no more enemies left, the level ends, it goes back to the previous scene, and the stats of the players at the end of this scene are then put back into the other scene, so that health persists, and players that died also die in the overworld as well. So that's what I want to do. That will tie my overworld to the dungeon, and then I can start working on other things in the overworld as well in the future. So I'll see how it goes, and I'll see you soon. Okay, so I've done what I wanted to do. It's much later in the day now. I think I started recording at around 10, maybe 11. It's now 7. But I have made the sort of structure for going into a dungeon and then leaving a dungeon. I created an entire new scene. This is the overworld scene, and when I press W, I go into the dungeon. Now, these three characters are based on this party, which I've created. These are the maximum number of players in the party size, 4, but this is the current party size, and these are their stats, you see. When I enter the game, these stats will be placed onto the characters inside the dungeon, and there's 3 of them. Each one of them has similar stats, right? If you remember. So I'll just move through the dungeon. I deleted the second amount of enemies because obviously each player and character is about the same strength anyway, so this game is basically impossible. I meet the enemies, they roll their things, and what I'm trying to do here is win this fight. They are actually the same strength, but I want some of them to die, some of my people to die. I was just selected both of them for some reason, I don't know why. The reason I want some of them to die is because I want to show you that when they go out of the dungeon, then go back into the dungeon, they are consistent with who came out of the dungeon, basically. So what I want to do is I'm gonna win this fight. We're gonna look at the stats. One of them died. Good. Oh, I'm gonna attack this one. Apparently, things are sort of clipping a little bit. That's fine. We're almost done. It's fine for now, anyway. And we've killed. Right. So all the enemies are dead. I'm gonna press L to leave the thing, and I enter the overworld again. And as you can see, the party only has 2 players now. So even though there's these ones, these 2 have the stats of the other ones. And it looks like they won't hurt these other people, because they still have their max health. And if I were to press W again, I'd re-enter the dungeon. There's just 2 now. So, I've created a way to enter the dungeon from the overworld. I've created a way to leave the dungeon from the dungeon to the overworld, and that's all I wanted to do. It took me a while, but it's quite a lot of stuff really, if you consider everything involved, which is getting packets to and sending them around. Well, I create an object called a packet. It just has a list of all the character stats in it. Send it over here. I then sort of copy and paste those stats onto the enemy, the players. I then show the players or hide them based on if I need them. So they're all shown, but the ones that aren't needed will hide themselves before they spawn. I needed to create a new scene with its own game controller, its own control scheme. So there's quite a lot today, but I'm really happy with what I did. I think that next time I do this, I will work on. I think I'll work on just creating a little overworld area. Yeah, I'll make a little overworld area, and I'll try and focus on something completely different, but inside the overworld zone. I think I want to make a flat plane with a character on it, and I want to basically move it. This one isn't going to be tile based. It's just going to be clicking and moving on an overmap, like an overworld. That way I can make cities on that overworld, I can make dungeons on that overworld, and when you touch them things will happen, but for now I just want to do a small thing I think next. Make a character on an overworld and have them move around with clicks without trying to tileize it. I don't know what the real word is. Have it be tile based. It's just going to be slightly more precise, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.